The number of victims from Friday night's tornadoes remains unclear this morning.
Tornadoes touched down in 6 Midwestern states Friday night. The most severe damage was in Kentucky, where at least 4 tornadoes hit the state. Those storms left entire communities devastated in 6 different states, and the exact number of people killed remains unknown. Officials in Kentucky believe the storms killed at least 50 people, with at least 14 others dead in 4 other states.
Where all this rubble is a dining room and a living room. I was in the dining room because I had been watching the radar, and the power went out, and I walked into the dining room, and then I heard the roar.
As the search and rescue continues, the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA chiefs are in Western Kentucky assessing the damage. President Biden declared a major federal disaster in the state of Kentucky. I know we've both covered all sorts of severe weather over the years, and it is devastating to look at this damage, especially that drone video that we were seeing over Mayfield, Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, everything feels like it's just like, it seems like everything was just leveled out. I mean, it's a harsh reminder of what tornadoes are capable of. So to get a better understanding about what just happened on Friday night, we thought we'd take some time to discuss some questions that we've been getting in from viewers.
Yeah.
Jonathan Kegas did a fantastic job on Facebook Live answering a lot of those questions over the weekend. So the first question, how long do tornadoes typically stay on the ground? Now, of course, we're going to be looking at it more in like the Midwest tornadoes, because you know, here in Central Florida, we don't get Ef4s and 5s to that magnitude. So when we kind of look at some of the data, it talks about how tornadoes can travel up to about 60 miles per hour. We're talking about fast moving tornadoes here, but they average from an instant to several hours. On average, though, tornadoes only last about 5 minutes, but talk about a scary, scary 5 minutes there.
Yeah, and it is shocking to hear of a duration that is that long with this. Of course, it hasn't been confirmed that this tornado was on the ground for 250 miles. It'll take several different teams from different offices, from FEMA and the National Weather Service, to go and assess that damage and the patterns to determine if this was indeed one individual tornado on the ground for that long. But it looks like it's very likely that it was.
Yeah, I mean, the longest path tornado on record was the tri-state tornado of 1925, and that was 219 miles. So again, it's going to take weeks to really investigate which tornado was it. Was it different for tornadoes? We know there was a family of tornadoes in this one big supercell there. Again, it's going to take some time, but of course we'll continue to keep our eyes on the information from the National Weather Service and FEMA.
All right, the next question we've been hearing: how often can debris be seen by radar? There's been a lot of talk about the debris cloud from this particular storm. We do have an image from the radar from Friday night of the Mayfield area. Now, meteorologist Jonathan Kegas pulled a screen grab showing that debris field that is estimated to have risen 30,000 feet into the air, breaking records. To give you some perspective on that, that's where airplanes fly. So we're talking about debris field very high. Now, in the Midwest and in this area, we do often see debris fields on radar imagery from tornadoes. A lot of times here in our area, we're talking about smaller, short-lived tornadoes, Ef0 and Ef1, so not always as likely to see that debris field.
Yeah, and the debris signature is truly the debris. It's pieces of wood, it's pieces of metal, and in areas like that, you can normally find a debris cloud about 70 to 80% of the time in these tornado signatures. And yes, they can be picked up on radar. And things as small as birds can also be picked up on radar, depending on what setting you put. So, of course, they were on the severe weather kind of setup there when it comes to the radar. You can see that debris cloud and all those bright colors around that center. And the other question: how rare are December tornadoes? Quite rare. And normally in that area of the country, we tend to see those springtime storms. The tornado alley is what we call it. I mean, we've been talking a lot about it during the commercial breaks on how this is not the typical tornado alley of Oklahoma. This has all shifted further east.
And that is an area that does see a decent amount of severe weather. You know, I worked in Evansville, Indiana for a few years, right in that area to the north of Mayfield, Kentucky. But typically the tornado season there, April and May. There was a pretty famous tornado outbreak, April 3rd, 1974, that went through that area as well. So it is very rare to see a tornado in that area at this time of year.
Yeah, certainly the atmosphere did not look like a typical December in that area. When you talk about record heat from the south, record cold from the north, I mean, and if it is rated, by the way, an Ef5 tornado, it would end a record 8-year drought in top tier tornadoes. And some people might not understand what an Ef5 tornado, you know, the category is. That's about 200 miles per hour. That's a extremely strong Category 5 hurricane, just barreling through these neighborhoods there throughout, Kentucky.
We talk about hurricane season. We always say Mother Nature doesn't follow the calendar.
No, never.
And that was certainly a setup where, the atmosphere didn't realize that it's December. It was not a typical setup, with those record temperatures and just that clash of the air mass, which does cause that severe weather. So not the typical December setup.